Hi, I'm Mother Rope. I also answer to Josie. These are my heavy ropes. I want to show you one by one the ropes that I have, a little bit of how I use them and their weight, their length, and their grip. These are the three most important factors to consider when you are selecting your next heavy rope. So starting off here is the very first rope I ever got in my heavy rope collection. This is the Slush Melon from Slush Ropes. It weighs 1.5 pounds and its length comes up on me to right at my waist, and I'm 5'6". So this rope was really important for me at the beginning of my practice. It was heavy and it tired me out, and that was important. It also started to teach me about the way that heavy ropes, because of their increased diameter, tend to be slower in the air than a thinner, lighter rope. This is going to float a lot more, which changes the dynamics of your flow practice, and it can be a pretty great thing to work with. So after the 1.5 pound rope, I went ahead and doubled up to this, which is the 3 pound electric shark. Now, not everyone is good with going to double their weight like that. For me, it was the right choice, worked out great, but definitely consider getting something in between a 1.5 and a 3. There's lots of options in the 2.5 range. So this electric shark here, the length of it is longer than that, just a little bit, comes up a little bit above my waist. And one of the important things to note on the grip is it is wider. The grip of this rope is wider than the rope itself, which is actually not common with heavy ropes. Usually you're going to have something that's the same or smaller width for the grip. But it's nice. A lot of folks like to have that ability to kind of hold the rope from the grip like that. So with this electric shark, I got my first taste of what the true power of heavy rope is. And again, this thing definitely tired me out when I started using it, but it was addictive and the reason that I've got so many more. So electric shark, collaboration from Winding Ropes and Slush Ropes, is a really great rope. All right, from those two, I went ahead and actually only took a teeny tiny step up. You might recognize this one. This is the Great White Shark. This is from Winding Ropes. It weighs 3.3 pounds and it comes up just here, so a little bit longer than those two. And this is, though it's only slightly heavier than the electric shark, it is a little bit more stiff, and that changes the dynamics of the flow. The other thing with this one is that the grips are definitely narrower than the body of the rope itself, and that can take a teeny bit of adjusting when you've not had those criteria in your rope before. For me, initially, I did not like that. I thought it was too scratchy, it didn't feel right, but I very quickly got used to it because this is an extraordinary flow rope and one that I use every single day. It has a really great quality for translating your movement. So the Great White Shark, I think, will probably end up in the collection of anyone who gets serious about heavy ropes. So after our Great White Shark, we have one of my favorite ropes. This is the Navy Shark from Winding Ropes. It weighs 5.4 pounds, so definitely heavier, and it is also the longest rope in my collection, coming up to almost my armpit level, which right here is 50 inches from the floor. So this is a long rope. The grips are also substantially thinner than the rope itself, which is great when you are getting into this heavy of a rope because of the increase in diameter. If the grips were wider than the rope, especially for a woman's hands or smaller men's hands, that's going to become very, very challenging to hold and to move in more complicated patterns. So here with the Navy Shark, you can see how I end up choking up on the rope a little bit in order to get my movement patterns in. I can hold it on the grips. It's a little bit more of a rope lengthwise than I have been making use of, but it's still a really great rope. I do use it. I tend to snag it on my clothing a lot when I'm flowing. And so this rope is wonderful if you're a little taller, but if you're less than 5'6", I would not recommend something this long. So we're getting to the very last rope here, which has quickly become my favorite. This is the Storm Chaser from Slush Ropes. This particular Storm Chaser weighs 5.7 pounds. I believe on her website, the rope is slightly less of a weight, but this one here was the very first that she ever made. This is the prototype Storm Chaser. And the dirt on the bottom here, that is from the floor at the Weck Method Lab. So Storm Chaser, again, 5.7 pounds here, and it is actually overall 4 inches shorter than the Navy rope. So for me, this is right above my waist, and this is just about the perfect length heavy rope. I'll show you the grips here in a second, but this Storm Chaser is extraordinarily fluid. It really responds to the subtle differences in how you're moving in your body. So the Storm Chaser is a great, great biofeedback tool. And the grips are a teeny bit narrower than the diameter of the rope, which is great because this is a very, very thick rope. And it's very easy to work with. If you are 5'6" or shorter, this probably is right on the borderline for you, but there are not that many options when you're getting into heavier ropes, like above 5 pounds, for those of us who are not very, very tall. So these again are the 5 heavy ropes that have taken me from just somebody swinging a rope and having fun to someone who has a deep, deep ingrained pattern of movement that has been forced by the heavy ropes. There's a magic in these that you only get when you swing it. And we are starting to explore more of the physics of this and how it's working, especially on bodies that aren't traditionally athletic, like mine. This rope is helping me turn my body into something that I never thought it could be, strong and powerful and graceful, even in my early 40s, after 3 decades of chronic illness. So I like to think of this rope as my magic wand. It really has given me a tool to transform things that felt impossible before discovering heavy rope. And one of the extraordinary things is when you see these patterns that I can get into, the way that my body has to move to carry that weight smoothly, there is this really interesting interplay of forces. And the term that makes a lot of sense with this is to call it centrifugal force, centrifugal tension. So the centrifugal tension is pulling on every angle in this sphere of movement that's happening. And my body then is responding on every angle. And so if you want to train unconventionally, if you want to train for real life, you should be training with heavy ropes. Wherever you are, rope flow will meet you where you are. And wherever you are with rope flow will be better with heavy rope flow. Thanks again, I'm Mother Rope, and I hope that your rope flow journey, if it doesn't already include heavy ropes, gets there very soon.